I am supposed to talk about savings, but may not necessarily restrict myself there because we have not really saved enough to begin to find ourselves that we have achieved a lot. But I think what we are doing is a work in progress. That the fact that today people are talking about issues which they did not used to talk of in some years ago is evidence that the work we are doing over the years has made progress. And I recall earlier that a colleague from FEPA did talk about building the capacity of the Accountant General to do annual cash plans. And this is a provision of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission Act, which has been here since 2007. And in previous years, we sent a lot of inquiries about, have you drawn up the annual cash plan, what are you doing? And they reached an extent where we have to do an FY proceeding, which is still in court, and telling stories left out in the center. So today we've learned that actually it was a capacity deficit. And also it came to a point where we did the same request of the Minister of Finance then, Budget Office, who were supposed to drop a budget disbursement schedule in the time of the former minister, and of course, we also discovered on our own, without anybody telling us, that it was a capacity deficit. Because what she simply brought to talk was ridiculous. She divided the capital budget by 4. And then I said that is the budget disbursement schedule. So, Q1, this is what she called. That's not the budget disbursement schedule. Even the judge refused to agree with her that what she presented was the disbursement schedule. Now, in terms of frivolities, wasteful and inappropriate expenditure, you say lawyers like speaking a lot of grammar or that they distinguish. You remember former President Clinton, when he was accused of doing some things, he did not admit to what he did or what he was accused, but eventually he admitted to some inappropriate behavior. He admitted what inappropriate behavior, but that may not necessarily amount to a crime, but it was inappropriate, considering that he was the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of the United States of America. Now, we have been able to bring out what I consider to be very ridiculous provisions of the budget. And you have a situation where the Minister of Agriculture used to play on some words like seeds, S-E-E-D, seeds, seedling, improve seeds, improve seeds, improve seedling, and improve seedlings. They were joking with this year in, year out until even last year, this year they did it. We took it up with the appropriation committee. They admitted that in actual fact that they saw it and they knew it was rubbish and bunkum. But that they even wanted to remove it, but that the powers that be insisted it should be there, and that they wanted civil society to know that the executive, that the legislature is not collaborating with the executive to mismanage Nigeria's resources, but that they themselves have tried. That's why I say it's a work in progress. The results have not been achieved. Now, if some issues that also dominate the front pages and editorials of newspapers like paying for pilgrimages has been one of the things we've been talking about every year recurring, saying that religion is a very private business. If you must go to Jerusalem or to Mecca, save money and pay for yourself. Our constitution forbids the adoption of a state religion. So by paying for you to go on pilgrimage, you are discriminating against other citizens who are not members of your faith. Not everybody is a Christian or a Muslim. Some people worship other deities and they don't believe in going to pilgrimages. And in the equalization principle we believe in Nigeria, pilgrimages are not compulsory for Christians. I can't remember any section of our Bible that talks about pilgrimages, but if Muslims must go on pilgrimage, Christians definitely have to go. And in the process we waste a lot of money. So we were in the forefront of campaigning that the state has no business. Provide people consular services. If you want to go on pilgrimage, pay for yourself. We have also been in the forefront of canvassing that issues around the presidential fleet. Of course, it was in the papers a couple of days ago about how much they used to maintain them. They have 10 aircrafts in that presidential fleet. The newspapers have done editorials on this saying, look, you have to cut down on this. For at best, the Queen of England has no aircraft flying around the world and the British Prime Minister. What's so special about the Nigerian president having 10 aircrafts in his fleet? What the hell is it doing with that? And we had thought that the current government was going to auction them off and leave maybe one or two. But change has not yet reached that area, and we are hoping it will soon reach there. We also try to popularize playing on words in the budget. You find the budget in one agency for maintenance, another budget for rehabilitation, and the third one for repairs. Those of you who are very good in English, whether you can distinguish between these three things, I've tried. But, what they usually do is to play on words, and the budget, like we say, is not particularly an interesting document. So very few people try to even look at it to know that there's a difference between maintenance, repairs, and rehabilitation. And in one particular year, we had money voted to repair a particular building in the State House where the roof was said to have been eaten by termites. And I told myself, these termites are so fearless and so wonderful. They even enter as so and descend on the personal building without fear. Even me, I don't fit. My activities never reach that one. Termites go enter, chop the thing finish, and we have millions to go and repair it. You looked at some budgets of some agencies. A particular agency, the Secretary to the Government's Office this year, is claiming about 161 million naira for cleaning and fumigation services. You have what they call welfare packages, which is running to about 1.142 billion. We draw attention to this. And what most ministries have been so guilty of in the last couple of years is this idea of software acquisition, computer software acquisition. Everybody acquires softwares every year. And you have everybody acquiring uniform and clothing. Whether you are paramedic, military agency that needs clothing. In fact, the Ministry of Information, I don't know whether they use uniform to read news in their pharmacy. They also have budgets every year for clothing. And you read the ridiculous extent where the then Minister of Finance had close to 700 million for security services. And I was wondering, what kind of security services that you will need to work in the Ministry of Finance? Up to today, I'm still at a loss because it was at the height of the Boko Haram crisis, so everybody was getting a security book, including the Federal Ministry of Finance. So security is very important. And then one other issue, which is still very hot, is about statutory transfers, which are not disaggregated in terms of you see lump sum figures. And all of us have been crying, especially that of the National Assembly, to see disaggregate it. Happily, the Senate President has promised, but until he fulfills that promise, we are not going to take it up, leave it lying low. A number of agencies and CSOs are also working in that area. We even went as far as in 2014 getting judgment against the then Minister of Finance, saying that she must give us the details. Of course, the judge who is supposed to have cited her for contempt refused to perform his duty until she left office because we actually initiated contempt proceedings to get her in prison for her willful refusal and neglect and failure to obey the order of the properly constituted court. Well, we are also trying to see how we can promote the budget beyond this being in the website of the budget office and that of the National Assembly or wherever. We do what we call capital budget pullouts every year, where we pull out the capital component of the budget ministry by ministry. We do it on geopolitical zone level and basis, publish it, put it up in our website, and distribute it as widely as possible. And I think another agency of government, that group of it, started doing that, but we were the first group that started it. So the whole idea is that people should be able to find out what exactly has been provided for them instead of the big budget book. You have a booklet that doesn't run into more than 40, 50, or 60 pages. We even gone as far as even a project we are doing on maternal newborn and child to do a specific pull-out of capital budget provisions on maternal newborn and child across the federation. And one of the other things we did was to look at using film and videos to be able to project issues about the budget. And we did this short film about 35 minutes, which we call Budgeting Against Development. And incidentally, when they had the Best of Nollywood Awards in 2014, it won the award for the best documentary for that year. And essentially talked about what has happened to the budgeting process since 1999 we returned to civil rule, what challenges are faced, what are the options for civil society, and what could be done. We got people from both governments, organized private sector, faith-based groups, politicians and budget experts to talk about it. In a nutshell, whatever has been achieved so far, or whatever we are doing, we are still looking forward to achieving more, because we are not yet there. A lot of work needs to be done, and I want to acknowledge that whatever you see today has been the work that people have done over the past 15, 20 years. There were groups that started working on the budget over 10, 15 years ago. At the time, I dare say some of the people we are working with today may probably have been in the universities. So it is something that will continue. You do your bit, you move on, and somebody else comes and builds on whatever you've been able to achieve. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much.